Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Wednesday, hump day, and you guys know what time it is. It is time for Trainwreck Wednesday. So I hope you guys had a great week. I'm happy that today is Wednesday, and we're going to be working again on these two twin side tables that we started last week. So welcome aboard, all aboard. I hope everybody grabbed their tickets. We're going to try to get these two twins back here to Porch Paradise tonight because we want to get them on their way. So again, my name is Cassandra. I'm with Pecan Porch Boutique. Welcome to Trainwreck Wednesday. Okay, you guys, so a lot has happened since we started these two twin side tables. So I'm going to move out of the way so you guys can see that I got this one over here finished. And we're going to do the same thing over here on this side. Hey, Donna, how are you? Okay, so this is what this one looks like, you guys. So I'm going to try to move you guys in a little closer so you can kind of see. And then I'm going to kind of explain what I've done so far. Let me get my cameras all situated so you're not looking at the floor. Okay. Y'all, I got so much stuff rigged up here. I know one day I'm just going to blow up right on live. See? See what I'm saying? Hold on, you guys. Hold on. All right. Okay. All right. So, last week, you guys, we worked on these two twin side tables. There's two of them. There's one over there and one here. So, I went ahead and I finished this one up. And this is kind of what it looks like. So, if you guys remember, we started out giving it a really fresh coat of this really buttery yellow called cake batter from DIY. We also use the textured floral left and right decoupage papers by Roycycled. And Donna says, I hope not. Girl, one day it's going to happen, Donna. It is going to happen, I guarantee you. And so what I did on this one, you guys, we gave it two coats of this buttery yellow, which is cake batter by DIY. And then we used the decoupage paper on the top shelf and the bottom shelf. And also what I did was I did the imprint method. So if you guys can see this script here on the back, let me pull you guys up some more. You guys see this script here on the back? I used my favorite stamp, which is the Kindest Regards stamp. Hey, Dorothy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the twins are coming along. They're coming along. Y'all know they're identical twins, but, you know, they got their own personality. So I did the Kindest Regards strip on the back, and then I also used the Heirloom Roses mold to make some to make some roses out of resin. And right along this edge here, I did some gold gilding wax. And this, you guys, can you guys see this right here? This decal right here is a Would You Bend mold. And I'm going to show you guys that tonight as well. And so I think it turned out pretty good. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm kind of digging it. I'm digging it so far. So that is that one. So we're going to continue and we're going to start working on this one over here. So let me see if I can maneuver my mad scientist lab here. Because the first thing I want to show you guys is this resin that I used to make the molds with. Excuse me for being in the camera. So I'm going to tilt you guys down and kind of show you what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do. So, y'all see, can y'all see? I had to go with 2 TV trays, y'all. I had to go with 2 TV trays. So I'm doubling the chance that all this is gonna collapse. But I had to go with it. So this is the Would You Bin mold, you guys, that I talked about that I used on the other piece. And Would You Bin is a really unique product. Like, it's really stiff right now, but when you heat it, it becomes bendable. Hence the name Would You Bin. And it's not really real wood. You can see that on the back. It looks kind of like a combination of MDF and cardboard. I really don't know what it is. But we're going to use this other one. And I had these in my stash, y'all. So we're going to use this one on that other one. Okay, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some molds. And we're going to use this Heirloom Roses mold because we're going with the roses theme. But what we're going to use is we're going to use this amazing casting resin. So this is a resin. And this is it right here. The amazing casting resin. And you get pretty much everything you see, you know, as far as this part right here in the box. So you get these solutions, and it's a part A and a part B. And it comes with a couple little cups, but of course I done lost my cups somewhere. So, and it comes with some sticks as well. But I'm gonna use it to pour into my molds. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. And so what you wanna do is, let me take my glasses off so I can see. Cause child, y'all, sometimes I can see with my glasses on, sometimes I can't. So I saw Royce using these little cups, and so I had to grab some. And they're little measuring cups, and they have this little beak on the top, and that makes it easier to pour out of. So as soon as I dig whatever that is out, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix, and you mix. What you do with this resin is you mix part A with part B, and once you put in the part B, then you have 10 minutes, as it says on the box, to get it all poured up. So you really don't want to, I mean, you got to move quick once you mix them. So, and it has these little numbers here on the side. So I'm going to try to see if I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix part A at 20 milliliters. And I'm good right now because I just have part A. But once I put in part B, then the clock starts to tick. So we're going to go ahead and get these poured up so they can be setting up. Okay, so now I'm going to put part B, and I did 20 of A, so I'm going to do 20 more of B, and that's going to give me 40 equal parts. And so you guys probably can't see this on camera, but it turns kind of like it has these swirls in it. So then you want to take your stick and you want to start mixing. And you want to keep mixing until the cloudiness turns clear. And once it turns clear, you're ready to rock and roll. And so this is pretty easy. So if you don't want to use clay, you can use the resin. Now, of course, the resin isn't as pliable as clay. So if you're trying to wrap it around something or something like that, you probably want to use your clay. Okay, there it is, y'all. So now I got to pour. So I'm going to go ahead and start to pour. I'm just going to pour it in my mold until I get up to the rim. And this little dipper really helps to pour. And you want to make sure you're on a flat surface. Pour out my leaf. I'm going to go ahead and get another rose. And again, you have 10 minutes, but you want to go ahead and make sure that you get your product off inside of your inside your mold. Go ahead and get this little bud right here. Can you guys see? And I think I might have enough maybe to do this little rose over here. Okay. All right. So there. So now I've got my resin. I've got it poured. Make sure I put the cap back on here, y'all, because I'm going to tell y'all, one time me and my friend, when we was in high school, you know, we was taking physical science. And we blew up the doggone beakers. I don't know what we put in them, but we blew it up. So I don't want to blow up nothing tonight. Okay, so we're going to let those sit. And once they turn white, they will be ready and you can just pop these out. So this is kind of what it looks like once they're done. You guys see these? They come out in this really milky white and they're hard. So this is kind of what you get, which is really good, right? They come out this really pretty milky white and you kind of like almost don't want to paint them, but they are paintable. Okay, so if you guys can see this down here now, it's turning white. That means it's setting up and it's getting ready to be done. And I still have quite a bit left, so I can go back and pour more. But resin is a really cool thing to work with. And again, this is the Amazing Casting Resin, and you can get it on Amazon. Amazing Casting Resin. And get the 10-minute formula. I think they have a 5-minute formula, but you don't want to get that unless you're really, really quick. So, all right, you guys. So that's it. We're gonna let that sit, and we're going to get started over here on this little puppy here. So, for you guys that just jumped on, again, we are working on these twin side tables. Hey, Katrina, how are you? So we finished this one over here on this side. And so now we're going to work on finishing this twin over here on this side. So, and we just poured some resin for our molds. Because as you can see over here on this one, I did cast some molds out of the resin. And I used those on different sides of the table. Okay, so what do we do first, you guys? Okay, so I think what we're going to do, and again, I painted this table in Kissing Booth, if you guys remember. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys again the imprint method that we did last time. That's the one I got from Jane Belk of Funkature Gifts and DIY Studio. And she taught me how to make imprints into the paint. So that's what I'm going to do now. Dorothy says, can you buy Amazing Casting Resin at Hobby Lobby too? You know, I'm not sure, Dorothy. You might, maybe you can. I'm not sure. I've never looked for it at Hobby Lobby. You know me, I'm an Amazon kind of girl. Lord knows if Amazon ever loses my address, child, I'm going to be in better shape financially. I'm going to be heartbroken. Okay. So, we're going to go ahead now, and the first thing I want to do is I want to get some more paint on. Now, you could easily, and then y'all, I'm going to use my favorite stamp. Y'all know what my favorite stamp is? The Kindest Regards stamp. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some more paint on, because to use the imprint method, you want to make sure that you're using wet paint. Okay, so I'm going to get some more paint on in the spots that I want to put this stamp. And you could easily not do the imprint method. You could just put paint on your stamp or ink on your stamp and stamp it. Patty Smith, hey, from Buffalo. Hi, Patty, welcome. So, but the reason why I'm using the imprint method is because it gives me a little bit more texture. And through this whole project, we've been working with texture. And so I'm going to use the imprint method on this. But let me just put you guys down real quick so you guys can see the molds. So you see how they're getting really white? So those are going to be set up, and those are going to be ready to go in just a few minutes. It takes about 5 minutes, 5, 10, sometimes 15 minutes, depending on where you know, the atmosphere in your room. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start, put on some of our kissing booth. This really pretty kind of fuchsia-like color. And we're going to start down here. So I'm just going to put on a little here. A little more. We already have some on. Just going to put on a little more here. And so the key to the imprint method, you guys, is just so that you need wet paint. That's what you need. And in doing that, it's going to give me the opportunity to add a little bit more texture to my piece. Again, you don't have to do the imprint method. You could just put your ink or whatever it is on your stamp, and then you'd be set and ready to go. Okay, so I did it in, I did the lettering in Little Black Dress. And so I'm just going to turn you guys over this way some. Just kind of let you see that I'm just going to put a little bit of this paint out on my board that I have down here. Just like that. And I keep them in my FIFO bottles. It's just easier for me to use. I'm just going to roll through it and pray that I don't knock this over. So I'm just using my brayer. You can use a stamp or a paintbrush or however you want to get your paint on. And then I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to roll it over my my stamp here. You guys can see my stamp, I think. Let's see. There we go. I'm just going to roll it over the stamp. Not a lot, but you know, enough to ink up my words. Y'all can see this Candice Regards stamp. I don't know if y'all can see, but it is well used. All right, so I got my ink on my stamp, and now I'm just gonna take it, and where I inked it up at, I'm just gonna press it into my paint. And I'm not looking for anything, perfect, because again, this is supposed to be like romantic, okay? So, if I get some smudges, that's okay. So I'm just kind of holding it with one hand. Can you guys see that? Holding it with one hand and just kind of pressing down over where I inked it at. And there we go. Can you guys see that? So I got some right here, and I'm just going to take my baby white. Can you guys see that impression there a little bit? So that's all it is. You just press it into the paint. And I'm going to go on this side and see if I can get a little bit more of an impression. It's not easy doing this in vertical with one hand. All right, so I got the ink impression in there, right? So, and all it did was just, it gave me some texture. And again, I'm not looking for full coverage. So, I'm just looking for kind of this worn, romantic look. Okay, so that's that side. And now I want to go ahead and I want to do it on this opposite side here. And I'm going to kind of try to turn my table a little bit. This way, so I think you guys can see that. Okay, so again, this is the imprint method, so I'm going to put some wet paint on. To imprint, you need wet paint. Just going to put on some more Kissing Booth, which is the original paint color that I used. Not a lot, but just enough to give me a good printed image. And again, the reason why I'm doing the imprint method is just to give me a little bit more texture in my piece. All right, so there's my wet paint. Now I'm gonna go back with my stamp. I'm gonna add a little bit more paint to my stamp. So look, you guys, the molds are all set up. They're all set. They're hard. So we'll pop those out in a few minutes. But I'm gonna put a little bit more ink on my paint on my stamp. I'm not using ink with my brayer. I may need a little bit more. Just roll it across my stamp. And one of the things is for these stamps, you know, there's gaps in between them. So you want to make sure that if you get ink in any of those gaps that you don't want it in, make sure you wipe it off because it will come off on your surface. All right, so we got that inked up. Turn you guys up again. So right here, this is where we're going for this time. Just gonna put it on here and press it down, trying not to shift it, trying my best not to shift it. That's why I'm using one hand to hold it. But knowing that it's not gonna come out perfect, and that's okay. I'm not looking for perfection on this one. There we go. Can you guys see that? Let me bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see that. Sorry for the shaking. Can you guys see right here? So there's the print. You can't make out the lettering, of course, but there's the imprint right there. So that is kind of what's giving us our romance look. The kindest regards stamp. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing now, you guys, right up here at the top, just like we did on the other one. And again, just going to ink up my stamp. There's my stamp. I'm using a little black dress. You can use any color. And while that's drying, once we get these on, while that's drying, then we can do our, we can work on our Would You Bin. Would You Bin is really a unique kind of, can you guys see? Hey, Trainwreck is here. There's Funkature Gifts and DIY Studio. Hey, Jane or Anna, not sure which one. Jane, I'm using your, I am using your imprint method again tonight that I learned from you. Jane, you guys, if you guys haven't ever gone over to her website, Jane is with Funkature Gifts and DIY Studio. And I'm glad now, at least I was pronouncing it right tonight, Jane. And she is the best at doing backgrounds. So this is where I got this from. So I'm gonna put some paint on. Can you guys see this? Putting some paint on. Just getting it wet. So it's kind of like I'm putting on another layer of paint, really. Not going for full coverage, of course, because I already have it painted. I'm going to stand up, though. Try not to get it on my decoupage paper. All right, there's our wet paint. Now, excuse me for being in front of the camera. Let me put a little bit more ink on here because I probably should have inked this last. Just gonna roll a little bit more ink on my stamp. All right, here we go. Here we go, you guys. So I'm gonna do this from the back side, I think. I think it'll be better. All right, so I inked up my stamp. I'm just gonna take it. And this one was a little bit easier because I could kind of stand it on the top here. And then I could press. So this was a little bit easier than doing the one on the bottom in the vertical. So I'm just pressing it down where I've inked it up into the wet paint. And I'm just gonna lift it up. And there we go. Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can bring you in some so you can see that a little bit better. If y'all saw all the stuff that I had around here, y'all would be like, child, you are gonna blow up. Okay. Can you guys see that? Right here, where I've imprinted that. So that's the imprint method. Anna says, sorry I'm late, but I'm here looking awesome. Hey, Anna, you're never late. Anytime you join is just a pleasure. So no worries at all. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and get this other side done over here. And then we can move on. I'm going to unplug this. Because that's kind of... Sorry, y'all. Okay, so... let's go ahead and get this other one done. I'll move you guys back just a little. Sorry for the shaking. And we are going to go ahead and do another paint. Another little bit of paint. And I'm going to go ahead and stand up for this. Get some wet paint on here. Trying to get as close as I can to my paper without getting paint on it. And again, this is Kissing Booth that I'm using, and I'm stamping in Little Black Dress. The DIY clay-based paints. All right, add a little more. All right, there's our wet paint. Okay. All right, and again, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to roll onto our stamp. I'm going to take a chance and roll this up here, y'all. Just pray. Pray that I don't get any black. Okay, I inked up my brayer. Roll it across my stamp. And I'm kind of rolling it toward the bottom because, you know, in this corner, I'm not going to be able to get the top part. So I'm just kind of rolling along the bottom. All right, got that on. We got our wet paint. We're set and ready to go. So again, I'm going to take my stamp. I've inked it up. Come over here on the side. And again, this was a little bit easier because I could actually stand it up on the bottom here. All right. Got it standing up. And then I'm just going to press down. So that I can get that imprint into my paint. All right. Peeling it up. What does it look like? Not bad at all. All right. And again, if there's places that you don't like, you could paint over this and go right back over it with the imprint method. But I'm good with that. That came out really pretty. Really pretty. All right. So we're done, you guys, with that part. So now we've got our imprint on both our bottom section. We got it here. And then let me move you guys back a little now. And we got it on the bottom. So we got our imprint down here as well as up here. It's kind of hard for you guys to see because of the wet paint. So you guys can't see it really good right now. But it looks just like this one over here. Of course, let me get this down so you can see. So this is what it kind of looks like. This over here. I'm going to bring you guys in so you can see it a little bit better. So when it's all dried and said and done, it will kind of look like this, but it'll be different because it's on a different color. So this is kind of what we're going for right here. Romance, y'all. It's romance. It's spring and romance is in the air. So what do you guys think so far? Okay. Now, let's go ahead and we are going to, I want to show you guys these molds that we did in resin. There they are. And so now that they're all done, and it's funny, you guys, so when those two activate, there's like a warmth to them. But now that they're done, all you do now is just pop them out of the mold. And you get this really pretty, milky white, beautiful rose that we're gonna use. We probably won't get it done tonight, and these come out really hard, but what a great imprint. These molds are so detailed, you guys. And these molds, this is the Heirloom Roses mold, and these are by Iron Orchid Design. So we just pop those out, just like that. And you have a whole little thing full of, and you can do as many as you want. Isn't that cute? All that detail. Hey, Rose, thank you. All right. So there we go, you guys. So we are heading for the home stretch. Okay, so one of the things I want to show you guys tonight is this Would You Bend. So again, this is called Would You Bend, and I had this in my stash, y'all. Y'all know I got a stash, child. I got several stashes. But this Would You Bend, I had it in my stash, and again, it's right now it's really stiff. But what happens is when you heat it becomes bendable, and that's what we're going to use to kind of go around this curve of this table here. So what you do is you take your heat gun. I have my nifty heat gun here, and I'm gonna put you guys down so you can see. Sorry for the shaking, wobbling. So here's the Would You Bend, and again, we looked at it, and it's hard right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my heat gun so you guys excuse the noise. And we're gonna heat it up. And I just thought, what a great idea. And then I thought, how come I can't never think of nothing like that? Child, I wouldn't have thought this in a million years. So again, you heat it up. It comes really stiff, and then you heat it up. And when you heat it, it becomes real pliable. So now you guys, check it out. It's like magic. Look. See how bendable it is now? Look at that. This is Would You Bend. Hi, Nancy. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, so that's where we are with this. Okay? All right. Now we got our Would You Bend. Let's take some glue. I'm going to use a little brush. Now, y'all, I better put my top back on my paint, because I'm going to be crying if it dries out. So give me just a second, y'all, while I put my top back on my paint. And I just dropped my top. All right. Got my top back on there. Okay. Now we're going to take a little glue. And I just put my glue in the, this is Eileen's Tacky Glue. I got it off of Amazon. Y'all know, Amazon. And I'm just going to put some glue on it. I'm making sure that I get it all the way out to the ends. And again, this is called Would You Bend. I do not retail Would You Bend. I hope to maybe someday. But they have all kinds of really cool things like this that are just so cute. Y'all, these little TV trays come in handy, don't they? TV trays come in handy. Let me see. What does Anna says? You know, lady, it dries out. The best thing about DIY paint is you can just add water and fix it right up. Yes, Anna. Anna is so right. DIY paint is like a miracle paint. If it dries up, you can just add some water, y'all, and poof, it's back. All right, let me get my glue on here, y'all. Bear with me. And I can hear already that it's starting to harden up again. Isn't that just so cool? So you heat it up. It comes kind of stiff and hard. And, you know, it's stiff. It's not, you know, completely unbendable, but, you know, you would probably break it. But when you add heat to it, it then becomes pliable. So I just want to make sure I get my glue all the way out to the ends, y'all. I don't want to get to the end. How long before it gets hard again? The Would You Bend? Well, I think it only takes a few minutes, Anna, because I just heated it up. So I would say probably about 2 to 3 minutes before it gets hard again. But that's okay, because we're going to put some more heat on this puppy. We're going to hit it with a little more heat, Anna. And it's going to all be good. But I had these in my stash, y'all. And then I thought, man, I can finally use these. Sometimes it's good if you can remember what's in your stash. My stash is so doggone big. So sometimes I don't remember what's in my stash. That's the bad part. Out of sight, out of mind. All right. Looks like I got my glue on here, y'all. And again, I'm using Eileen's Tacky Glue. You guys can use wood glue or, you know, whatever glue you have on hand. All right. So it's all glued up. Take you guys up a little right here. And so I want it going the opposite direction that I did on this side. So the rose on this other table is pointing to the right, and so I'm going to make the rose on this one point to the left. And it's okay that I got glue here because this glue will go. I'm going to add some texture. All right. So it'll be buried in the texture. So now I'm just going to take it and I'm going to try to center it. I'm trying to center it with this drawer here. And I'm just eyeballing it. So put it right there. I'm just going to kind of push it down. Can you guys see? Just kind of push it down. Hold it for a second or two. Kind of walking my fingers across the whole vine just so I can make sure I push it down on every limb and leaf. And it gets a pretty good suction, but while it's there, I'm gonna, once again, I'm gonna take my heat gun now. And I'm gonna start to warm it up so it can just get a little bit more pliable and so that the glue will melt. And as I do that, it will adhere better because now it's pliable again. So it doesn't want to pop back up. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? That makes it pliable so it would curve around the dresser. Yeah. I didn't see the question, but yeah, the heat is what makes it pliable so that it curves. I'm just pushing it down just to make sure that everything is holding. Isn't that cool, y'all? I think that is just super cool. And what a perfect little dresser for it. Like, it was waiting on it. All right. Okay. So there we have it, you guys. And it's warm to the touch. Got some pretty good suction there. Just gonna kind of hold it here for a second. Pressing down kind of firmly just to make sure everything gets adhered. Isn't that cool? Look at that, super cool. You're right, Katrina, that is just so super cool. I was just too outdone when I first saw this stuff. And so, believe it or not, you guys, tonight is my first night using Would You Bin. And of course, I would use it tonight because, why? Because it is Trainwreck Wednesday. All right, let me see if I can catch up. Does anybody have any questions? Hey, Sonia, how are you? Glad you joined. Let me go back and see. If you guys have questions, I'll catch them in the end like I always do. Okay, so that's the Would You Bin, you guys. Is that not cool or what? That is just perfect. Perfect for this little dresser. All right, so what have we done? We have done our imprint on the bottom and on the top. We've done our imprint because, you know, this is romance. And we had to use that letter because, you know, it's romantic. And so now we put our Would You Bin mold in the front here. And so now what I'm going to do with that mold is I'm going to first, it's 8:15, so we still got some time. I'm going to first go back with some of my kissing booth, just so that I can blend it in to the dresser before I, thank you, Anna. Yeah, these things are just great. So just like I did over here on this side, you guys. So first what I did after I put the wood bin on, I blended it in with the same cake batter that I used for the base of the dresser. So that's the same thing I'm going to do on here. And then after I did that, I went in and I used some different greens, and I used the kissing booth from that table to do the little roses and things that you see on this table. So I will do the opposite on this twin. So I'll go back in with my kissing booth. I'm going to do that now. Turn you guys around. And this is on pretty good. I don't see any place where, and it's cool now, so I don't see any place where it's pulling up. So I'm going to go back in with my kissing booth, which is the base color that we used on this table. I'm just going to kind of dab it on and fill it in. Getting all the little corners. And that's just so I can first blend it in here. I'm just blending it into my table. That way you don't see the original tan color of the wood bin. And I can go in on top then with my combination of greens and golds. And you won't be able to see the original color of the wood bin. So that's the reason why I'm going in with the original base color, you guys. The base color just kind of acts as a blender. Helps me to blend in. And take off the wood bin kind of tannish color. Just blends everything in nice and smooth. So I'm really not, I'm just kind of using a tapping motion, not trying to paint across it as I would in regular paint stroke. Just kind of tapping in this kissing booth. Getting in all the corners, just kind of tucking it in, having to move my brush around a little bit to get, I don't want any of that tan color from the wood bin to be showing through. Just kind of checking it to make sure I got all the spots. So I'm going to dip my head down, you guys. Underneath here. Looks like I got pretty much everything. Okay. So now, because that's the base color, it will just dry into the color that's already on there. All right, what do you guys think so far? What do you guys think of the Would You Bin? Isn't it cool? I mean, am I the only one who thinks that thing is cool? That is so darn cool. So cool. And I thought these little vines was perfect. Just perfect for this table. All right, you guys. So while that's drying and we have a little bit more time, y'all know. So I wanted to leave this wood trim here and the wood on the drawer and this wood trim here. But I wanted to touch it up a little bit. You know, because it's kind of rough. It's kind of got some, you know, a little few chips here and there and some fading out here and there. And y'all know, I know y'all can imagine. I know y'all know what I used to do that. Because y'all know me. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off some of this where I got a little bit of paint stamping in here. Just taking my baby white. And again, DIY paint is so easy to use, you guys, because it reactivates with water. And so, yep, Anna, you got it. Dark and decrepit, girl. You know me. You know I love me some D&D. I'm just going to kind of clean up this edge a little bit. And you can see it's coming off on my little baby wipe. Clean that up. Then I think there was a little bit of paint I got up here. And then all I did, y'all, all I did was take my favorite stain in the whole wide world, Dark and Decrepit. Those table. Thank you, Dorothy. Love the texture. Color accents, molds, and Would You Bin. No, Dorothy, I do not carry Would You Bin. Not yet. Maybe one day I will. Right now I do not. But yeah, so the molds I do carry, and this is the Heirloom Roses mold, the one I used at the top and on the bottoms, the ones that you see over here on this table. So over here, these molds are just from the Heirloom Roses, that top one up there, and the bottoms. Okay, so that's all cleaned up, y'all. And y'all already know. Y'all already know what I'm about to do. Y'all know what I'm about to do. I'm about to take my D&D. And you guys, with the patinas, one of the things you want to make sure of is, and I'm going to use the bottom of this stick that I used for the resin. You want to make sure that every time you use your Dark and Decrepit that you stir it up a little, or any of the patinas, because they do tend to settle at the bottom. So make sure that you stir them up before you use them. Now with the paints, you don't have to. I usually just give them a shake and I'm done. All right. So I'm going to use my little artist brush here and take it off because, you know, I ain't trying to lose no Dark and Decrepit. I'm going to use what's on this stick. I'm just going to brush it on, as you guys have seen me do so many times. Let me get you up. Taking it off my stick, because I ain't trying to leave no Dark and Decrepit behind, child. I'm just going to brush it on here, as I do, and as I have done so many times before. But I'm not going for any kind of deep dark stain, so I'm going to use it on here kind of more so like a glaze. So just get it on here first. Anybody out there try Dark and Decrepit and love it as much as me? Because I know I cannot be in this all by myself. I know you guys have tried Dark and Decrepit. Y'all gotta love it. Waste not, want not. That's right, Sonia. Child, I'm taking it off this stick. Because I ain't trying to waste none of it. All right. And that's all I needed was a little bit on that stick. To get completely across, I'm just going to add a little bit more right in here where it's kind of all right. And so then what I did, you guys, so I've got my Dark and Decrepit on there. And so everywhere where there's wood, I'm going to add some Dark and Decrepit. But I'm going to use it like a glaze. I am going to, so rather than letting it sit and using it full strength, I am going to use it like a glaze, and I am going to just wipe it back. So I'm going to grab one of my shop towels. Gosh, y'all, I think I'm out of shop towel. What in the world, y'all? Look, I didn't use this whole darn box of shop towels. But I got another one. Never fear, I got another one. Okay, so I'm going to take my shop towel, and I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to dab this back. Because again, I don't want it to be full strength. I want the wood to still be there. I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit from some of the scrapes and maybe a little bit few of the scratches that are on here. So I'm just dabbing this on. And pulling some of that Dark and Decrepit back. And there we go, y'all. So you can even see where I don't know if you guys can see right here, but before we put that Dark and Decrepit on, there was a big scratch right here. Now it's still there. Dark and Decrepit did not take that away, but it just kind of cleaned it up and blended it in a little bit more. So that was my goal for using the Dark and Decrepit. And I'm going to do the same thing down on this edge here and on the drawer. And I'm just going for a cleaner look on the wood. Because, you know, as you drag things around, they get bumped and they get scratched and, you know. So I'm just going for a little bit of a cleaner look. Now, I could have gone and tried to match this stain, you know, but nah, I didn't want to do that. Like, child, let me get my Dark and Decrepit. I ain't got time to be going down to Walmart and standing in there and trying to figure out what color stain this is. All right, there it is on that bottom one. Go across the top first and take off any that I might have gotten around that edge. And it's okay because it just blends right into that paper. And then I just take my little shop towel and I'm just going to start to blot it off. Even the drawer. And it just gives it a fresh, clean look. And Dark and Decrepit, y'all, dries so fast. and it doesn't smell, which makes it perfect for if you have an indoor project to do. So that's it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get mine. Let me see, what time is it? It is 8:30, y'all. Dang, time flies when you're having fun. I want to go ahead and do this drawer really quickly. Just brushing it on. But the plan is not to leave it on. The plan is to take it back. And we're just doing a cleanup, a fresh look. All right, that's on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my my shop towel again. And Dark and Decrepit, y'all, it works as a stain, or you can use it as a glaze. I'm using it as a glaze tonight because I'm taking it back. For a stain, you would leave it on. Or if you want, if you wanted it full strength, you could just put it on and leave it on. If you wanted to take some of it back, not so dark, you just put it on and wipe it back. So I'm kind of taking it back a little bit just by dabbing. All right. There we go, y'all. I think that is a nice, much more fresh look, don't you? And so what I did with this handle, y'all, I was so happy that I had the original handles. So what I did with these handles is, can you guys see that? I painted them black in the same little black dress, and then I used some gold gilding wax to put over the top of it. Because, you know, you can't never have too much gold, child. So I put a little gold gilding wax on the top, and I also put, so those handles will go back on, and those are the original handles. And I also trimmed out, I will trim out the top part around this edge here with gold. But one of the things when you're using your decorative patinas, you guys, I want to say that you want to seal the piece first if you want your gold, if you want your patinas to not be dulled down. Because if you put like the gilding wax on, or the pennies from heaven, or the golden ticket on before you seal, when you seal, it's going to dull it down a little bit. So if you want to go on full gold, child, put your sealer on first, and then put your decorative patinas on second. Okay? So let's see, what else can I tell you guys before we jump off? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up this one. What I did on this, let me see if this is dry enough. What I did on this, because I wanted to, it's kind of still wet. But what I did on this to give it some texture, like over here on this side, what I did was I took some salt wash. And you guys have seen me use salt wash before. I'm going to kind of pull you guys in a little bit. I took some salt wash. And, sorry you guys. I took some salt wash and I mixed it in this, the same base color. After I painted it on, just like I did here, I took some salt wash and I mixed it in this same base color. And then I dabbed it over this whole thing. So it kind of has this textural thing to it now. So it already had texture because the wood you're being is kind of a wood type, you know, product. So that was already some texture, but I added some more texture using the salt wash. So I just mixed it with my buttery yellow here, my cake batter, and then I dabbed it on all over here. And I'll do the same thing on that one. I will mix it with the kissing booth, and then I will dab it all over my vine just like I did here. And then I will come back with a combination of greens and the flowers, you guys. So on this side, all the flowers on this piece are kissing booth, which is the color of the other table. So all the flowers on the other table, though, is going to be this buttery yellow here, cake batter. So they're going to coordinate. So there's a couple things that coordinate these, that pull these things together, you guys. So over here, I'm going to use for the flowers, all the flowers that I put on, I'm going to use this cake batter color. Because over on this side, I used the kissing booth color over here. So there's a couple things that ties these pieces together. The black legs are the same. The decoupage papers are the same on each side. The gold gilding wax is the same. And the script is the same. But what's different is the color. So everything else ties these two pieces together. So now, even though you have two different pieces, they're coordinated by color and design, so that they could still stand in a room and you'll know that this is a pair. But you'll also see that they're different, which I like. So that is it, you guys. I think we have taken these. There was no train wreck. No train wreck. No train wreck this time, you guys. I think that we have taken these two pieces to Porch Paradise. I will go ahead and finish this up. I wanted to get to the salt wash, but you guys have seen me do salt wash before. I wanted to go ahead and finish these up. I may jump on real quick, you know, like during the day or something, so you guys can see me do the salt wash after this dries. But we're going to go ahead and finish these up tonight. I think that we took these to Porch Paradise, you guys. So, y'all's tickets got y'all to a good place this time. So, I hope you like these. Claudine. Thank you, Claudine. Yes, I think they came out wonderful. So, you guys, I linked my, the link to my shop, my online shop. I linked it to the live. Any of these products that you see me use tonight, you can find on my live, but I do not retail the Would You Bin, and I do not retail the resin. But everything else you should be able to find on my website at pecanporchboutique.com. Hopefully you guys will go in and find you something and start creating. If you haven't tried this great paint of DIY, I encourage you to do that as well. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I really do. It's always fun to have you guys on and to get your input and see what you guys think. And I just appreciate it. So you guys make Hump Day and Trainwreck Wednesday fun. So I appreciate it, you guys. Thanks so much. Again, my name is Cassandra. And as we say on the porch, don't forget to bud, bloom, and be unique. Till next time, you guys have a good evening. Bye-bye.